recording this, and we'll upload some shorts and clips from this onto YouTube at some point. We did our first live stream last week, Saturday, and we had a few technical issues. I had my mic off half the time, which is great fun. But we got there in the end, but we didn't have a recording of that, so we haven't uploaded it anyway. This will be the first recorded one. Cool. I don't suppose you know what's gone into this build. I've just pulled the latest one, so we're gonna check it out live. So any bugs that come up, we'll add to our bug list. But hopefully it's nice and tight. Yeah. Can you think of anything that's gone into this one?
Well, the earliest implementation of grenades is in it, but we still have a little bit of work to do on that. But that the next build, which will be before that was come sometime next week. I think we have Overwatch, the earliest implementation of Overwatch in it. We have a lot of bug polish. I need to look at the change log, but I think that's the biggest things is we've started implementing grenades, setting that up, and then Overwatch.
Yeah. My understanding was that the grenades in Overwatch are not finalized yet, so they may be a little shaky in this build, so I'll probably avoid them for now, but we can certainly chat about the mechanics. Maybe towards the end of the stream we can give it a go and see where we're at with that. But yeah, those are still in development. Nice to see there are some of their buttons are actually in. You can kind of see here in the equipment one we've got to click it. There's our grenade button there. So actually, let me see what happens. So I think the way this is being limited is, yeah, I thought so. So none of our operators are actually carrying grenades at the moment, which means we won't be able to throw any of those, which, yeah, our devs are clever like that, right? They just implement a feature and then don't give us the item in inventory, and we never get to test it out. But I'm just joking, of course. That will go in eventually as well. So you can kind of see the grenade's been added in there, and then we've got an Overwatch widget that we've started here. So yeah, we haven't done any of the stylistic stuff yet. So this is very much just prototyping it. You can see it's kind of like a rectangle shape as opposed to, in fact, can we look at it? Yeah, there we go. It's a rectangle shape as opposed to a wedge, which is what will eventually go. So a proper kind of like cone shape that's going to, represent the line of sight and the area of coverage for the Overwatch. We had some cool ideas come forward about this. So, for example, we were kind of playing around with the idea of being able to change the width of the cone. And that would extend the distance that you have Overwatch, but in a narrow field of view. Or we shorten that distance and then widen the cone so that you can kind of, for example, if you're checking corners or something like that, you can hold a position and cover quite a wide area around that corner. Excuse me. So yeah, there's some work going in there, which is super exciting. So I'm just checking my my chat. I see. We got confirmation from Viking, our technical expert, that my sound is coming out on Steam. This is good news. Everyone gets to hear my cheerful voice. How wonderful. Right. And I think, have we got anyone watching our broadcast chat? Let's have a look. Cool. I'll just drop a message over here. You guys feel free to leave some messages there. Cool. Right, sorry about that. You can probably hear me typing away. Cool. Right, we can probably cancel that. Overwatch. There we go. Cool. So we are back in our very beautiful landscape here. We've got a squad. Fletch, Anvil, Viking, and Quake. This is a fresh new game. Now, a mistake I made on my last run was not knowing where my medic was at all times. So there are some designations. Wait a minute. Do we not have a medic? Yikes. That's unfortunate. You know what? I'm actually going to I'm going to restart this run. Um,
Where's the? Oh,
don't worry about it. Nothing to see here.
nothing. Uh,
What were you going to ask?
nothing. I thought the third one down was a medic,
CT,
but maybe
yeah.
not.
Oh, there we go. Cool.
Um,
I must have accidentally dropped the med kit out of inventory or something. Oh, we actually
yeah,
have
there you go.
two CT-17s. I think the last game we didn't have a CT-17, so I actually this. I wonder if Mikola, one of our devs, has added in two medics just for me for the streaming, so that I can actually survive these encounters. I
Yeah.
wouldn't put it past
I
him.
think one thing that's gonna be cool is that we're gonna implement by the time of the next fest build is we're gonna add on top of the med kit, which is basically to help you stabilize. We're gonna add plasma, which isn't like a magic heal up, but it basically, like in real life, adds blood, so you not only stabilize but somewhat improve the condition of your operator who's been shot or whatever. I think that's kind of a laying the groundwork for the deeper systems that we're going to implement later.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the story of this whole build, right? And why we're in the Kickstarter and everything right now. In fact, could you give us an update on some of the numbers on the Kickstarter? Because we've got some pledges coming in. The upper tiers have proven quite popular. Um, so, right, I'm actually just, while you chatting about it, just rating my guys up because I've had a tough time here before.
And this also, too, before I get into that, this is also another feature that's coming into the next update. Whereas we're going to have a group movement for real time. It's going to be the basic start of that. And it'll get deeper as we expand upon it. So that way you don't have to, you can move a group at a time instead of having to do them individually if you want to.
Yeah.
And that'll be important later on, particularly because the maps aren't like Jagged Alliance or XCOM style maps where it's just this tiny little area and it doesn't really matter. We're talking about huge, massive maps. So it'll make it easier to do.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, but as far as the Kickstarter, I think we've had it up for 4 days, and we are at around 30. Hold on, we're around 5,200. We've raised around 5,200 from maybe 2 dozen backers. I have to look at the numbers again, but surprisingly, we've gotten a lot of higher tier backers. I was or as we call them, operator packages.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, some good initial support. The hard part is always breaking through the social media algorithms, though. So it's a challenge there.
Yeah, get through the noise, right?
Get through the noise.
Yeah, I think it's quite important to keep in mind what this build is all about, right? So I know a lot of new people will be coming in, haven't seen some of the marketing that we're putting out for this game. And I mean, the one thing that's deceptive is that the game is very beautiful. You can kind of see a lot of work's been done on the assets and getting the map running nice and quick. This is running at 60 frames already in our alpha build, which we're very proud of. We'll obviously look at support for higher refresh rates and bigger monitors and all that kind of stuff. But this is not the finished game. This is something that's been made pre-funding to show off the kind of systems that we are implementing. So we've implemented these all with the alpha build in mind, but they are there to show the depth that we are eventually aiming at, and that's what we need help with in the Kickstarter. And things like Next Fest, and we've got some plans for potentially. Oops. All right, medic's crouching now. Yeah, we've got these ideas for these deep systems that are all fully specced out, but we just need the resources and the time to be able to implement them now. So any support you guys can offer is much appreciated. For those who've already backed and are watching the stream, thank you very much as well for your support. We really appreciate it. and we're going to deliver. We're not going to be those devs that are here for a money grab and then vanish into the distance. This game, whether we fund it or not, is something we're going to be working on for a long time and getting it out there. But the more help we get, the more quickly we could do that, which is kind of important. How have I not run into anyone yet? Right. How's my formation? I've got the military guys in the chat here with me and actually know what they're doing.
Well, it's good that you didn't just run into an area, right?
Yeah.
It's always
Oh,
just
spotted
run
someone.
in first.
So this guy, has he seen me? Interesting. Can I take a shot? I can. Boom. Oh, we got another guy over there. Cool. Right, we've engaged. Let's have a look at our turn order widget here. Cool. I'm just wondering if this guy's in. Let's move him forward a little bit. Just get it. Oh, he is in tactics. All right, cool. So, right, those are new to the mechanics of the game. I'm just going to cover this again. We've got a turn order widget down here at the bottom. Again, this is just the initial version of this.
This is the earliest iteration of it.
Exactly. Yeah, we haven't had to change it, which is actually really good for our core mechanics. It means that we've got it right to start with. But again, we've had a lot of feedback and actioned that on this. So anybody's got any ideas and wants to get involved, hit up the Discord. Cool. And we've got a nice log going here as well. This first one is always first, so he's actually engaged pre-tactics mode, which means he's got his full action points, which is kind of great. We're going to take another shot immediately. We've done a little bit of work tweaking the damage numbers as well. One thing from the last live stream was that they were kind of squishy. Not so squishy, sorry. They were kind of bullet sponges, right? It's his turn, and it looks like he's running towards me.
I think it's important for us to let people know they appear squishy, right? Because what we have in it, like for example, so we have a wounding system that obviously we're still going to tweak the numbers, like what the damage is per wound, right? We've implemented a wounding system that is complex. That for each level, you lose blood for the initial hit and then blood per turn because you're basically bleeding. And the second layer that we've added on top of that is mechanics to show stagger, knockdown, things like that. So if you get shot, you generally get knocked down. But the next system that's coming online is limiting mechanics based on the wound. So for example, if you get gut shot, you get knocked down. Right now the character will get back up because we haven't implemented that. So visually you're saying this guy looks like a bullet sponge when in fact he's not. So the next layer, when it limits his movement, will show he gets gut shot and then maybe he can't stand anymore. The only thing he can do is crawl or lay on the ground. But one thing that we are going to do for the next Fest build is we're going to bump up the damage numbers for right now. And keep that in place until we implement that next layer, which is limiting the mechanics based on the wound itself.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
it's a good summary.
Sorry for that little ramble. So.
No, there we go. This guy, you can actually see it in action right there. He staggered quite heavily after that hit, which again is just our very rudimentary system for showing how heavy a hit might have been. So we're definitely going to be building that a little further. I can't remember if I. Right, cool.
And that's that's another part to what we're building, is that we're not just we're not building XP trees, we're not building RNG grinds, we're not building this sort of boss level mechanic sort of thing. We're trying to emulate how war actually works and how it works on people. So a deeper, more immersive system.
Okay, nice. Right, as the enemy's taking their turn here, they've taken a couple of shots and moving a little bit. Whoa, where did that come from? We can actually see Fletch here has built up some trust with his squad. So this is quite an important feature as well. If we hop onto Fletch, it's this guy here. and you can kind of see here that his S grade rank has gone up from 1 to 2. And this, you'll probably chat about this a little bit more about what this actually means. My understanding of it is it's that, as the tooltip says there, trust, reliability, and operational standing. So, these numbers, the UCD, the unit command designation, so they're ranking, for very oversimplified comment on that, and the S grade tie into a lot of the mechanics and the scars that can come up, and yeah, so when it comes to engaging in fire, if we've got guys there that are highly trusted, that could impact the confidence of a lot of the operators and make sure that they're not freezing up in battle and that kind of thing. But feel free to actually tell me UCDS properly.
No, I think one thing that people are going to say, obviously earlier on, the mechanics behind it are limited, but basically as we start layering it, all these systems tie into each other. So, for example, UCD is basically kind of your, not rank, but your order in the organization, in the group, right? So it would be like saying, I guess, kind of like the difference between a private and a veteran, that sort of thing, that sort of progression there.
Yeah.
That's what the UCD is. S grade is basically separate. It's the trust that other operators have in you to perform. And then those things will start interplaying with things like scars, cohesion, trust. If you have an operator that's very reliable, so let's say they have a very high S grade, and then you have what would be the equivalent for morale checks if you're getting flanked, that it can help you improve things like that, because that's kind of how it works in the real world. The whole thing is as deeply as we can to emulate how the real world works and how combat works with people.
Yeah, nice. Speaking of scars, no, that was great, man. Yeah, thanks. I was just pausing because we've got Anvil's under some stress here. He's got a shock fragility scar that's formed. Again, if you've read any of the documentation we put out there or watched any of the streams and videos, you'll already know that we've accelerated the process of forming scars for this alpha/demo build. So this happens very quickly so that we can demonstrate it in live streams like this without playing long campaigns. Because this game, the intention is for it to be, long ground campaigns, skirmishes that aren't just over in 5 minutes, XCOM style. There's actual thought that has to go into this, and these things take a lot of time. So scars will form more slowly, but we do have shock fragility on demo here. So Anvil, here's his shock fragility. Those of you that are playing the build will be able to find this here. So I think it's because he whiffed a headshot, right? And that triggered a little bit of RNG in the background, but that won't go into the final build, again, just for demo purposes. And yeah, the hits and suppression are more punishing from the shock fragility. But what you can do is keep an eye on the log to see if anything happens caused by that scar. Cool. We got a couple of typos we need to sort out there, but yeah.
And for people who don't understand, scars is basically trauma. They're the experience that you take away from combat, and that could be as far as how an operator, the effect of that can be good or bad in some cases, depending on what the trauma is. Some trauma can cause you to perform better in battle, while other trauma does the opposite. And what will happen later as we start building this out is you will have scars that combine to form new scars. And those also affect your relations with other operators on your team and things like that. So like a lot of games, you can tell a character to do this, XYZ, right? And they just do it like a robot. Well, these systems that we're building are going to undo that, because you could tell an operator to do something, and if he has a certain type of scar or a combination of scars, or something else happens on the battle to a friend, that can change how he reacts or doesn't react.
Yeah.
So
nice. Yeah. Yeah, another parallel to that is the specializations and pathways, a kind of more formal approach to. I use progression very lightly here because we're not an XP points choose your own adventure. This is learning by doing. And what Fletch has done here, you can see he's unlocked precision anchor pathway, the steady hand specialization. specifically for rewarding patience and disciplined positioning. So his positioning and shooting there, again, an accelerated activation here, but it just shows it here. So he now gets stronger first shots when stationary and is less shaken by return fire, which is kind of cool. He also has a Trauma Shepherd pathway, field psych. So yeah, that can help some of our shell shocked. Wait, not shell shocked. What are they again? Shock fragility. You know what I mean. Can help them out a little bit too. Cool. So we can get rid of that. Still got one action point left. Let's go for a headshot. Oh, headshots are bad. Oh, he's managed to pick up hypervigilance as well, which is great. Although shock fragility, not so much. Anvil's just taken a hit. Ouch! Look at him. He was knocked off his feet there. He actually has a pretty severe wound, which is not great. In fact, he's taken 2 hits. Let's see what happened exactly there. Yeah, Anvil took one hit in each leg by the looks of it. And I've just noticed as well, we've got one enemy, unknown designation is KIA. Looks like it was our chap over here. He must have bled out. So yeah, that's an important mechanic to chat about as well. You know, there is no element here of just getting shot and then that's that. There's no kind of repercussions of getting shot. We've implemented basic bleeding to illustrate that, but again, these systems will run a lot deeper as well.
And also, I think it's important to this illustrates 2 things. The fact that like a lot of games, particularly in this genre, you have this bank of hit points, and it doesn't matter where you are in there. You can just do whatever you do, right? There's no real limitation in most games on what your operator does, even if he's at 22%, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, the characters in this game can bleed, and they'll bleed per turn until you stabilize the wound. And as we develop the system out, those wounds are going to get more complex. You can break limbs. You can lose the ability to use a limb. So let's say that you get shot in your dominant arm, which is your right arm. Let's say that's what that is. Then you could not fire your rifle. You would have to try to do it with your left, right? Which then that would affect your accuracy and everything else. And then one other thing I wanted to mention, just by that example about that operator getting shot, like if an operator actually got shot in the leg twice, they wouldn't be just jumping back up on them generally, right? So that's where, again, perception about, at least in these initial stages, that they look like they're bullet sponges, but they're not really, because you don't get to see the actual effect of the wound, right? So once we layer that next layer on top of it, where he can't, or the chances of him getting up on his legs, standing up in a firing position, are probably slim to none. He might be limited to crouching or crawling or just being prone. So
nice. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, really good summary. Thank you. You'll notice, I tried to shoot this guy around the corner, and all of the body parts that we want to aim at are not visible. And that's because we've got line of sight actually implemented. So we have some integrations with our mechanics with the environment, the important ones like that. But in order to hit this guy, I'm going to have to step out. And then take a shot. This guy's taken a lot. He must be wearing some serious chest armor. But he'll probably bleed out fairly soon. Let's just crouch down. This is a slightly hairy position. There we go. Sweet. So he was KIA. Finally succumbed to his wounds. We do still have 2 enemy operators out there. Oh, don't know whether they're operators, but yeah. I just like saying that word. Cool. Right, so we still have an orange wound here. So again, these are slightly simplified. Oh, look at Avalanche getting AS Plus ranking there as well, for helping out. That's building some trust. So he stabilized Anvil's leg wound with medkit. Cool. So Anvil's not in good shape still, but the wounds have been stabilized. Again, we'll build out these systems a little bit more. So yeah, you can kind of see his wound resiliency is down. theirs was quite low. Uh, but those wounds for this build, it's been stabilized, and so we'll be able to kind of operate as normal. Whereas we will deepen the system a lot as we progress with our feature updates, so that Anvil unfortunately wouldn't be able to just carry on as he is there. We'll see how he performs. I'm fairly sure he's not normal in a kind of normal happy state. So yeah.
I also want to add, because I believe we've already implemented this too. I think with the different wounding levels, I believe we have it where you actually lose AP.
Yeah.
So the first implementation of that is losing action points, which represents what you can do. The next layer is limiting actually the like the stances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. He seems better off than I expected. I'll just say that. I'm gonna post him up here though. I'm not sure where these other guys are. Do you reckon it's worth trying out our Overwatch mechanic and see what state it's in?
Yeah.
That's a nervous giggle, man. That's a very nervous
Yeah.
giggle.
Well, I think I play tested it the other day,
Yeah.
and because this is very early, right?
Yeah.
And I think it broke my turn widget or my command wheel.
Okay.
But hopefully, maybe we've gotten it internally patched. I'm not sure.
We'll see.
Um,
See there, honest
yeah,
devs, everyone. What's the world
yeah,
coming to,
right.
huh?
What is the world coming to? But I tell you, I mean, I'm really excited about what we're doing. We mentioned earlier about the attention to polish and the detail in the beginning. So we didn't want to we didn't, we're trying to do two things. We were trying to set the foundation for a very deep immersive game where we just start adding layers after we get the foundation built, right? But the second part was selling people the vision of what we're building. And it's hard to do with placeholders and bad graphics, at least in my mind. I'm a very visual person. It's I mentioned earlier in one of the devlogs how a lot of games that you play, particularly games that look more cartoonish, is you really don't have don't have a lot of empathy when a character dies. Like it's just a cartoon, right? Nothing big, it's just a cartoon. You kind of have a hard, at least I do, have a hard time immersing myself in it. So the idea as we build this out is to put you in that role. So where one thing is, war is not just this, let's Call of Duty, shoot everybody up, and that's all it is, and everything's fine. It's to kind of give you an idea of what war's like. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a very important part of this game. It's not just a game.
Yeah.
It is representing a very serious and very impactful real life scenario. Not the story or the situation that the game is in, but just war in general. Yeah, we've had a lot of discussions about the politics of this game. So it is set in the past. We're looking at like 2002, 2003 era, right?
Yep, 2002.
Yeah. So, and there are some fictional elements to it, but there are parallels with, the kind of present state of the world that are there, and we respect our players. They'll pick up this game, they'll see what they see, and they'll make the connections they want to make. We don't really flip flop on political alignment with any of our players. If they want to play the game the way they want to play it, that's cool. But yeah, we have been very careful to do it in a way that is, obviously not offensive out of the gate, but also not overly sensitive either. Yeah.
Well, and two, I think that or at least from my perspective, that the primary purpose of this game is, well, okay, let me rephrase that. I think one of the important aspects of this game is to put the player in a situation of what war is really like and what it does to people, combatants, non-combatants, and things like that. But it's also to show, this is not so much, it doesn't really, as much as possible, get into the politics of it. It more focuses on consequences of war, what war does to people, what are the consequences of it. And so many games in this genre or in the entertainment industry, movies and things like that, portray war as this sort of like glamorizes it, right? Takes away the consequences, takes away the pain, and it just becomes a shoot 'em up game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Yeah, so I think it's important. So it's it's about respecting the players. It's about respecting their intelligence, um, in a lot of ways, and it's also about from my perspective, is I like games that are immersive, that put you in the situation of whatever you're doing, whether you're playing a fantasy RPG or whatever. It's kind of hard for me to play if I don't feel what the character's feeling as much
Yeah.
as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine getting very attached to the characters. Uh, we do have some early build designs and prototypes for character creation as well. So there will be a level of customizability that players will be able to take advantage of, which will further strengthen that bond between player and characters. But yeah, we're also not
Absolutely.
we're not over glorifying things. So one of my gripes with XCOM 2, again, fantastic game, one of my
Yeah.
favorites. It's kind of like the shrine-like behavior when your operators
Yeah.
are killed, which I understand the sentiment, and there's nothing inherently wrong with that. But it does, yeah, it didn't feel quite right, and we kind of want to do this justice and do it properly. So no over
And
glamorization here.
yeah. Also to follow up on that too, talking about XCOM, I think the closest parallel in this to XCOM, other than the original, is the Long War um,
Oh,
mod.
what a mod, right?
That
Damn.
what mod, right? Much more closer to that in tone and sentiment and things like that, and also too talking about how XCOM deals with death in the game. I'm a veteran, and Matt, who's also here with us, is a veteran, and I have a lot of buddies who've served multiple tours, and nobody celebrates when somebody dies. They're like, yeah, yeah. It's something that affects you deeply. You don't put your thing on like I know you see it in movies and it's glamorized later in some way or another, right? But people who lose buddies don't do that.
Yeah.
And so I kind of wanted to strip that out. And also, one thing that we're going to build into it, because this game is,
Ooh.
also about, I keep saying immersion because I want people to understand that's what we're building. We're building a world where you're in it and you're, as much as possible, feeling what those characters feel. So one of the things that we're going to do is like when a teammate is killed in battle, it's not just, well, they're gone, let me pick another guy. It's you have to pack up their kit and send it back to their family or whatever. And so
Yeah.
what will happen is you might have knickknacks that are like a souvenir or something that one character gave to another one, or all these characters are going to have backstories, right? They're all going to have places that they're from, have family, have uh, military experience because they're all combat veterans. So you might have a letter that's generated based on those experiences that you have to send back. And the point is reinforcing, for one thing, you know, that death is not, you know, something to be celebrated, but the impact on your team, because death, losing operators who are connected, like let's say a popular operator in particular, affects morale
Yeah.
in your units. So, and those things, okay, the last thing I'll say, and those things can affect how they perform in battle.
Yeah,
Because
nice.
again, our point is the operators aren't robots. They kind of have emotions and feelings and scars.
Wow, I can only just see his head here. We found the last two guys, and you can kind of see. We haven't actually got first person implemented. That's an interesting idea. But yeah, his
I'm
body is
actually,
obscured by that fence, right? So the arms, legs, and torso are not targetable at the moment. Well, you can shoot at them if you want, but you're gonna hit the wall. Um, we can only see the head, so we need some. Oh my, we need more luck than that. Let's try a second shot. Nope. All right, we're under fire here now. Get to this guy. There you go. Got everybody in there. There's your screenshot, everybody. Boom. Oh dear. Right. So Avalanche taking a
that would
hit
be
there.
once we implement it, that'd be a hit that he wouldn't just get back up on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can see the orange threat level here. So the wood level. Sorry, we are ascending down, descending from green to blue to yellow, orange,
To
and then
yellow.
red. Yeah. So orange is pretty serious. That's a pretty serious wound. He'll be bleeding out at this point, and we'll need some stabilization and triage to be able to sort that out. So this is him. I think he'll just sort himself out. There we go. Look at him wrapping up his leg there. I actually forgot to look. There we go. He's got battlefield triage specialization from a couple of times that he's done some work there. Cool. And actually, is that a bug? I think he might have reset his AP there from being so successful. Right, and he's got a couple of hits on this guy. Come on, shock fragility as well. These guys are developing scars at a rapid rate. Right, so you got 3 actions there, which is interesting. He's got adrenal surge response, which is a scar, and this is a good example of one of the positive scars. He's got a burst of actions, which he's just used, but it's going to be a hard crash afterwards. So we'll have to see in next round to see how many actions Avalanche has. Got a couple of pathways and specializations going here as well, which is great. So he's a dynamic guy. Right. Where did this dude go? Oh, there he is. Cool. That's another thing worth mentioning as well is if you can't see where he is, you're not going to be able to shoot him. So there is actually some kind of like player analysis of the scene, which is why we've given multiple camera modes, so you can kind of like fly around up top here. We did debate about having this camera angled at all from a realism and immersion perspective, but yeah, you can do this kind of thing. You can actually use this as well. So if they are visible, we can use the turn order widget to go to them, and if they're not visible, it actually just won't jump to them. It'll stay on the currently selected operator.
And it's also important to follow that up with. So you might have a top-down view, but if you don't have a line of sight to the operator or to the enemy, you won't see that enemy in a top-down view at all. So.
Oh man, Anvil, you beast. Yeah, that's a headshot. Headshots kill, man. Headshot. You don't want to get shot in the head. Not gonna help.
Yeah, no shot.
Yeah. Cool. So he's out of actions there, but yeah, it was nice to see someone actually hit a headshot there. We've got 1 enemy remaining. We've done the stabilization already, so I think he can actually probably just start opening fire here as well. This is quite a long-range shot for our alpha build. Again, we've reduced a lot of the sight ranges and weapon ranges down just for the current build, again, for demo purposes. The weapons will have all been spec'd out with their stats, things like bullet drop, range, effective range, all that kind of stuff. So, that's on the plan. Again, if you're watching this and you haven't backed us on the Kickstarter, please get involved there. It'll help us get to these sorts of details, because we love the details. Help us get to that a little bit quicker. Right, where are we at? Cool. Now, if let's just I just want to check. So that's head. If I stand up, I might be able to see more. Nope. Okay, right, he hit the headshot anyway. Boom, and we're out of combat. Well, that went better. Man, I'm getting good at this game, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't all say so at once.
Right? Yay!
All right, this is
yeah, it's a tough game, man. I mean, even at this stage, it's tough to survive.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes.
Cool. So yeah, Anvil took some hits, but we're gonna soldier on. I get to explore a little bit more of the map here. I should actually probably be guns ready, right?
Yeah. Oops. And that's another thing too we haven't really talked a lot about, right? So those inner toggles like low ready or ready, they're going to matter, because everything that you do in the game, almost everything that you do during turn-based mode, has a cost that comes along with doing it.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. But also, as we expand these systems out and we make them a little more complex, um, some things will automatic. Like for example, let's say that you have your weapon set to low ready, the toggle set to low ready. That way, if you're in turn-based mode and you're moving, it will go to that, right? But if you have it set to ready, it would you would end your turn already in a ready state. So that way, if combat started next turn, you wouldn't have to spend an AP point.
Yeah, nice. Cool.
And also, one more thing to add to that, as we build this out, those things will also begin to matter when we start refining what is the word I'm looking for in relation to the turn-based mode? It's gosh, I forgot the word.
Wait, what are you trying to say?
Basically, when turn-based mode starts, we have a system where it determines what the order of battle is, right? What operator is initiative. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you.
Yeah, Matt's on it.
Right. So those things will start to play a part in determining initiative. So if an operator, one of the factors will go in if he's already in a prepared state, then he might get that much more. I don't say a bonus. Bonus is not the word I'm looking for, but another factor that might throw the initiative to him over another enemy operator.
Yeah. Cool. We got some light looting implemented as well, but again, this is a mechanic that we'll be deepening quite a lot. I was actually hoping to switch something out here so that oh yeah, he hasn't got a scarf. Oh, where's it gone?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, there we go. It is cool. So he's got it on now. Fantastic. Cool. It's taken a little memento. Although while I was busy looting, I got attacked. We've been flanked over here by these guys. And it looks like Anvil's taken a hit as well, which is not great. Right, yeah, we will return fire straight away, I think. That's a miss. And we'll go for conservative shot. Okay. So this guy's going to get a second shot, probably at Anvil again. Oh, wow, we've got other enemies in the area too. So we can't see that one.
You know what I
that
think?
One. Oh, that's the dead guy. Okay. Yeah, we might have a little bug situation here, but we've managed to get through one encounter, which is decent. Nope. Maybe not.
Nope. On an unrelated note, interesting. So I'm watching our stream both through our Discord and on Steam. And it's funny how the Discord, no matter what you do, it's smooth. Graphics are smooth. There's no sort of, I'll say fuzz, but I don't know what I'm looking for is on the screen. Whereas when you're looking at Steam, you see that, and I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but it's like...
Yeah, it's probably some compression, I guess. There will be some artifacting because I am streaming it on Steam and streaming it on Discord all at the same time.
Yeah, no, I get it. I just find it interesting that you don't see any of that in the Discord at all.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
Right. Looks like our turn order widget's broken here now. So we'll probably conclude this run now and just start a nice fresh one. We do have a few little bugs that pop up every now and again. So yeah, this enemy is not in view anywhere.
Well,
so yeah, what were you gonna say?
Oh, nothing. Yeah, it seems like sometimes one thing I find interesting is when we quash a bug and then we make a change, the bug reappears for some reason. Sometimes I don't.
Yeah, that happens.
As a developer, I find it a little frustrating.
Imagine what we could do with a fully funded Kickstarter and resources right? and money. There would be zero bugs. Yeah. It would be a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Well, also, too, I think people we are really we've run this so far. Like a lot of devs or a lot of publishers, they spend years developing things out and have this big elaborate plan in the beginning. And I spent a long time. I spent 3 months before we even started coding, kind of building the world, building the lore, and everything else. But we really, as from a development point of view, from the coding side, we basically turned this into a guerrilla operation in the beginning. I mean, it was kind of on the fly in some ways.
Yeah, 100%. Cool. Oh wait, man. Right, I have just accidentally closed my game, which is a little bit awkward. So the stream will be completely blank. Apologies, guys. Let me get that up and running again for you real quick. Let me check my OBS. Yeah, it's a nice black screen. Cool. For those of you that are here, don't worry, we'll be up and running again shortly. There we go. Right, yeah, I think we're good. Cool. Sorry about that. We have an exit button in the menu, a working menu. How about that? But yeah.
I remember the days that when we didn't. I remember the days when we didn't have an exit button.
This is totally true. Oh, great.
Right?
Right, so
it's
what should we try in this build now, in this run now?
Maybe go a different direction. Go to the right. Flank them on the right. Let's see how
Yeah? Is this your favorite way of going?
I don't like. I mix it up. Also, too, we haven't even talked about this. So up on the right is the earliest iteration of the mission system.
Yes, nice.
Yeah, so it's important to note, like, that one of the biggest differences between this and say, well, one of the differences between this and say XCOM or Jagged Alliance even is that this isn't really mission based. Like XCOM in particular, everything, you drop into a map to do a mission, then you get evacuated out, and then you drop into the next. That's not really how this one works. But missions are usually going to be an optional thing, but they can also be dynamic, where like you run out upon intel and you decide to do it or not. But what you do can also have reverberations later. So yeah, I think it's going to be a very cool system.
Check where this guy's run. Fletch is feeling enthusiastic. Right, Fletch. Hunker down, bud. Right, we'll just have a little watch here. There we go. Cool. Yeah, I obviously clicked over the horizon, so yeah, the move system is pretty sensitive. Actually, we could come in down here. Again, we'll go slightly stealthily. Just move him over there. Right, actually, where's our medic? We don't actually have a medic. Right.
What is the second? What is? Oh, I need to expand my screen.
Yeah, CA21, LR42, AF75, and RW31. So.
Oh, yeah, and that's
yeah.
Right. I was just gonna say one of the, maybe not this next update, but probably the one following that will have more of an implementation where you can start selecting operators, the earliest iteration of that.
Yeah.
So.
Cool, right. So this would be a perfect spot for us to use our new Overwatch feature that we're working on. It's not quite ready to go yet, but our devs are working very hard on it at the moment, ironing out some of the bugs. So we have a pretty decent kind of like test playground where we build all of the features before we drop them into this map. And then we implement them directly in the map here. So it's this kind of like a staging ground version of the game where these grenade and Overwatch features specifically are looking pretty damn good, if I don't say so myself.
Yeah.
Right, we have this town kind of surrounded, which is nice. I think, stick together, team. Let's head on over there. Cool. So what's next after grenades and Overwatch?
Well, I think, like I mentioned earlier, we're going to have the earliest iteration of group movement in real time.
Yeah.
And then like blood packs, plasma packs for another first aid mechanic. Because what will happen as we develop this out, like I said, there's no magic. heal ups, right? So you don't slap a pack on a stim pack on somebody and they're like, oh man, I'm 100% again. Doesn't really work like that. So in the game, long term, is you're going to have to send wounded operators, heavily wounded operators, uh, you know, back to like a forward operating base or whatever for like a long term recovery.
Yeah.
That's how that's going to work. So
Okay.
and then after that, I would think my next idea would be, obviously we want to deepen some of the tactical options, but probably go ahead and start with an iteration where you can pick your own team.
Yep.
I will say this before I go, is so we'll probably implement that in more of a simple mechanism early on, because what will happen in development is we're building out like a, basically we call it Sparta. It's like the combat notebook that you use to manage your operators and things like that, like manage your roster, if you will. So that will get handled in that, but we're going to go ahead and start like an iteration of it earlier than that, because that's a deeper, much deeper system.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Cool.
So,
Right. Let's move out here a little bit. I'm not sure what's through here actually. Let's have a little look. Ah, cool. We can get a top-down view. There seems to be a way around out there. Oh dear. I'm missing the action straight away. Oh wow, there's a couple of guys on patrol over there. Interesting. Right, we're gonna have to flip everyone around then at some point. I wonder if I can get out of danger here. Yeah, let's head on this way. Oh, I'm not sure where I've clicked. Yeah, there we go. Cool. And we'll just face the right direction. Cool. There we go.
it's funny. I remember when we first did we first started the command wheel and how non-responsive
Yeah.
it was. It's just funny. It's, you know what I think is interesting is I don't think a lot of people understand like how development works, and they don't realize where it came from. Because I remember like when we first started coding this, like just how, I don't say janky, but just how disconnected and unoptimized so many of the systems are, because you're just starting to lay the foundation, and how much it's progressed since we started. I
Yeah, absolutely.
find that really
Well, and that's what we're trying to
interesting.
accelerate with funding and these live streams and stuff. Is get the game out there, get in front of people, get some feedback from the community, and then action that, because we haven't actually chatted much about modding. Right, I think that's close enough. I'm gonna stop him there. But the modding tools that we're building them into the core systems. Oh wow, he's there. I was looking completely at the wrong place. But we're building those modding tools into the core systems in such a way that we can provide a sandbox experience, a campaign and some kind of like light scenario specific details. But if somebody wants to come in and turn it into something, some vision that they've got, they'll have the tools to be able to do that in a way that is not a pain, like a lot of other. Right, shock fragility, great. Yeah, so that it's not a painful modding experience, like really overly complicated and having to kind of shoehorn things in, where the systems are actually lending themselves to modding from the beginning. Right, let's peek. Can we see him? I don't think we can. A little bit more of a peek.
What's wrong, Seamus?
Boom, good peek. Right, see what they do. This could get a little hairy. We've got no first aid support at all. Right. Ouch. Right, so I think Priest just took a headshot. Yep. Damn. Oh, that's so unfortunate. I mean, no one's going to be able to first aid a headshot better. But yeah, rip Priest. That sucks. Wow, that guy made that shot after taking a hit as well. That's pretty wild. Okay, there we go. Right, that's a heavy hit, so he'll be severely wounded with that chest hit. Yeah, he missed the headshot. Oh well. Cool. And we have 2 other enemies out there as well. There's one of them. Nice. Any questions in the chat? How many people we got watching? Where everybody at? Alrighty. Okay, so these 2 are going to have to handle Biz. Wait, we got one person who's not in combat here. So, I have had some issues with this before. Let's see what happens if we bring him in after the fact. We have got a few ideas for how to handle this kind of currency situation, because on huge maps we are going to have potentially multiple tactical engagements happening at the same time. So we can't have some of the map real time and some of it turn-based, but we also need a dynamic way to be able to handle that. So I'm just trying to see what our guys have implemented so far here. It looks like I'm able to... Oh, no, there we go. I've got this guy added straight in. So it looks like he's been added into the end of the turn order. Yeah, that's correct. Cool. So we have that solved in that way for now. But again, I've got some ideas for how to flesh this flesh this out in a bit more detail. Excuse me. Right. Right, we can do headshots too. Nice shooting. Alrighty. You can't see the other guy where I'm at. Let's see if this has got line of sight. Seems like I can just see him through the trees. Nice shooting. And I think I'm out of AP, so we're not getting that second shot. Right. Cash has taken a hit to the chest. Sorry, to the leg. Missed the chest shot. Oh, that's not good. Right, our turn order seems to have reset here a little bit. So I think there was some shenanigans there with scars. They've changed our order a little bit. Probably the shock scar. Oh, there we go. You can actually see it at the bottom there. So you lose 2 AP. Not loose, just lose. Don't worry, we'll fix that because of the scar. So that's a good demo of what can happen in combat if somebody freezes up based on a scar. They've got an earned steady hands there now. Cool, that's good shooting. Right, and he's got a slight elevation here. Should be able to get a few shots off. Nope. Missing everything. Okay, we still have one unknown enemy in the area as well. More worryingly, Kasha has got a severe wound, so this is not good. And that was to the leg. You can actually see it there. Got shot in the butt. Well, the hip. Alright, and the unfortunate thing is we're not going to be able to triage this either. So because of this wound, Kasha's accuracy will actually be down. You can see their AP has started at 0.8 as well, so rather than the standard 2. So they're actually so wounded they can't even take a shot. So they're in some serious trouble. I think we're actually going to retreat with the limited move speed we have. You can kind of see it's... there we go. It's severely restricting them. Alright. Oh. Yeah, I really need Viking to go next just to plate up there. Okay, we're going to have to move ahead and sort this out. Right, there's the 2 guys. Decent shot. 0.2 left. I think we'll just hide in this bush. I'm going to see... This is probably a bit of a long shot. Yeah, a little bit. Okay, that was a good hit.
Oh, nice.
Dead?
Wow.
Yeah, KIA. Right.
Nice.
Handle business, man. I've been practicing. Right, so this guy looks like he's actually running away. Which is kind of interesting. So 0.8, I think we've got to get him into cover. Might bleed out shortly as well, though. So we'll just pop him over there. And the turn. And yeah, we've got a sight shot here. Chest hit. You know, I've had some luck with arms today. Oh, I jinxed myself. There you go. Steady hand specialization. Oh, and an S plus ranking. Wait. Oh, no. Oh, damn. That is brutal. He just turned around and shot him.
Jeez.
And Cassius bled out as well. So, oh, that is rough, man. I think my confidence was too high from the first run. Yeah, that's a good Viking. I mean, Viking, yeah, it's got some shock fragility. Has developed some... Wait, I thought Viking... Well, it must have been specialization. Yeah, Trauma Shepherd and Precision Anchor Pathways. Oh, yes, it was S grade that went up. Sorry, it wasn't a SCAR that formed, so it went up to S2, which is pretty decent. But not really going to benefit his team right now, which is very unfortunate. Right, let's move on up. See if we can at least get one guy out here. Missed the shot. So that's the shock fragility coming into play there, probably. Right, this... Oh, dear. He's coming straight at us. No. Right, this is it. Headshot finish.
Get him.
It's not hitting. Okay. Oh, try for the... There we go.
Nice.
Wow, we haven't seen Glassbreaker before, actually. So there's a specialization earned there as well. It's pretty cool.
Very cool. No, so I think this whole run has done a really good job of showing kind of more the core aspect of how, like, you know, scars, how they influence things, and then really kind of the updates to the triage system.
Yeah.
Where, like, when you know, and how things matter, and you know, there's really no kind of no going back once you kind of cross that Rubicon on certain things. So just how choices carry forward. So very cool.
Yeah, nice. I mean, it was a bit of a grim run, but yeah. That's war, and I am an untrained warrior, so me being in charge is probably the main issue there. See if we can find some. Yeah, we'll put things like dog tags and stuff on eventually. You know, for things like sending all this kit home and all that. But you can kind of see the weapon and ammo, as well as all the other garments being worn there, which you can actually go and loot if you want to. I'm not sure why I took his pants, but there you go. There we go. Got to get out of. Yeah, cool. I think I'm gonna just kind of leave poor Viking here to stare off into the sunset. Really, he's had a pretty rough time.
Had a rough day.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, he's got a couple of scars, lots of battle experience that he's picked up in the accelerated.
Survivor's Guild.
Yeah, probably. Hey, man, that's a good idea. We'll add that to the list.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Cool. Do we have any questions in the chat at all? I think our fearless leader stepped out for a moment because he's not on comms anymore. Oh. I summoned you.
him.
I did.
Like a fucking genie, man. Oh, sorry.
It's now streamed on Steam, man. You can't take it back.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, you left and my whole party died. I mean, like, what's that about?
Oh, well, I had to take my...
one.
Yeah, my dog's sick, so I had to check on it.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's priorities. Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think we
I
could
think
probably wrap up and just chat about a few things, just with this nice backdrop of Viking staring 1,000 yard stare over there into the distance. Um, yeah. What did you want to say?
not. I mean, I think that in the amount of time that we've been at this and what we've been able to do with a fairly limited budget, I think it's amazing. I think what we're doing is different, radically in so many different ways.
Yeah.
And it's not just the XP grind, or the no perk trees, and I think it's just in every respect it's just a deeper, more immersive game, even in the alpha. I mean, but I think the Kickstarter. I think people need to understand that the Kickstarter is important because Kickstarter is like fueled for an engine, right? Um, it will give us the ability to build faster, to build deeper systems pre 1.0, to work in parallel if we hit our higher stretch goals. So instead of having two devs work consecutively on this and then that and then this, we can have multiple teams working at the same time. So that way we exit EA earlier, like our planned goal is a year, and then we have all those systems or most of those systems online before we hit 1.0, and so they don't have to come as expansions or a future update.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the Kickstarter's been interesting so far. We had lots of really good support, but we're trying to build that momentum. A fair handful of scammers along the way that we have to bat out of here.
Yeah.
But we've done that successfully as well. But yeah, those of
Oh, it looks like
you, yeah,
no, I was just gonna say, it looks like we had some more people join while we're running,
fantastic.
while we're running our mouth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice. Oh, what
Yeah,
on
I'm
the
sorry.
Kickstarter specifically?
No, in the live stream.
Steam. Oh, okay, cool. Oh well, welcome. Hey, if you've just joined us, I've actually just paused here for a moment because, uh, if you've only just joined, you wouldn't have seen our three operators KIA in the previous engagement, which was very unfortunate. Viking ran up the hill, thinking it'd be nice and quiet here, and has run into at least 6 other enemies. So he is not long for this world. I actually don't want to play anymore. I'm gonna stop right here just for Vikings' sake. Nah. Let's see what we can do. Yeah. To wrap up this the stream for today. Okay, he's got a good hit at least. So he is rocking a bunch of specializations. It's gonna help him return fire. Counter shooter. He's gonna be shot at a lot, so this is gonna help a lot. What was the specialization? Glassbreaker. Cool. So the way we've implemented the idea of a sniper at this point is just a long range enemy, but that'll obviously be an actual sniper with the appropriate location setup and equipment and all of that. Which, if they have the specialization, they'll have an advantage against. Trauma, not going to help there. We've got 2 scars going at the moment as well. Hyper vigilance is going to help a lot. Shock fragility less so. S grade has gone up to 2. He held his ground pretty well while the others were under fire, so built some trust up there. But unfortunately, they're all KIA at this point. UCD still 1. Have we actually built in progression for UCD into this build? I can't remember. So it is there. Okay.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Right, we have 1 AP left actually. Let's take a headshot. Right, missed. All right, here they all come.
So you've lost your entire team.
Well, not yet. Viking's still there. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, once we've built in Overwatch and grenades, those will go into the next build. So I'd imagine by the time we stream this on Saturday next week, but maybe even Wednesday next week, we'll be able to play with grenades and Overwatch, which would be a nice feature update there and move the build along nicely. We'll then look at implementing kind of RTS style movement to be able to move the whole squad in real-time mode a little bit more conveniently. And then I'm quite excited to get the cover system in, where Viking here would benefit from being able to get into cover. Right, he actually managed. He's just taken a hit on the hand. Um, yeah, so we're showing the wound on the arm there. So I think hand and arm at this point are synonymous. But he's actually done quite well to dodge a lot of the fire on him at the moment. So let's take this headshot. I'm going for headshots here. We can't hold any prisoners. Nope. But yeah, as I was saying, a cover system will then follow those other features, and the game will then come together quite nicely. But yeah, if you guys are here and haven't checked out the Kickstarter, please have a look. There's some amazing operator tiers that you can pledge from as little as $1 if you just like the look of the game, or you like our stream and how we've been chatting about it. This is obviously a passion project for us, so we're just going to do our thing, but every dollar helps. If you want to get more involved, get into the Discord. We're pretty active there, and our devs are pretty active there as well. So any feedback that you guys can give or any questions you can ask can go there, and you'll get a pretty rapid response. Yeah. Cool. Viking's going strong here, man. Although he missed his turn. Oh, that's unfortunate. So shock fragility there. I think the pressures get it to him, and he lost his 2 AP on his last turn. So yeah, the enemy are moving out of sight at the moment. What would you recommend in terms of Kickstarter tier to back, guys?
Well, I would say Sea Lord, but I think most
the
people would
$2,000 one? Yes, please.
Right. But I think, honestly, though, I think one of the most popular tiers that are going to be the introductory, a limited number. I keep saying tiers. They're operator packages. So I think as the earliest one that we have is 45, and that's the base game. But I honestly think for most people that aren't trying to build a fire team, that is, get their friends involved with the game, is probably Honey Badger, which is at 100, and you get some really cool physical stuff. But one of the best things about that one is a DLC that updates regularly. So like most DLC, you get whatever you get with it, and that's it. But this one adds new content regularly. It's going to be a $30 DLC when we sell it on Steam. But yeah, it's just you get some neat stuff, and it's kind of like having a subscription without having to pay to keep the subscription, if that makes sense. Yeah,
nice. I'm just gonna pop the brief up here for those that are watching and want to read about it, because I think am I gonna? I might as well finish this, right? Oh, damn. I should have stuck with the brief. Okay. Right, so there we go. We had a nice crash there straight off the bat. It's cool. I'm just going to fire it up again and pop the brief
It's also important to tell people, too, that this build in particular right here, we haven't gone through a Q&A on it yet because we're still adding things to it. So if there are bugs like that, that's why. It's because we haven't released this one yet.
But I mean, look how quickly it loaded, right? So
yeah,
there we go.
And I remember when the month ago, 2 months ago, when we had like 30 FPS, and you had issues with texture related. So I think we've done a really did an amazing job with the amount of time that we've been at this, and with the resources that we have to do it. So.
Yeah, the guys have been working hard, and I mean, I know you've mentioned this on the Discord and a lot of our comms, but they are in Ukraine, and we've actually had some pretty intense dev sessions where they in the background have got bombs dropping in the background, and their power is going out at random times and things like that, and they still passionate about this project, dedicated to it. Obviously, we put their safety first when it comes to those sorts of things, but the guys are doing an amazing job. Being able to turn around a build like this in like a couple of weeks / months, just the two of them, plus obviously the three of us as well. That's a pretty small team, and that's with minimal funding, pre-Kickstarter, pre early access, we're quite proud of what we turned around, even with the bugs. So yeah, any support you guys can offer will just help us get there a little bit quicker. Try and keep our devs safe and optimally working as well, so we can get these features out as quickly as possible. But yeah, we appreciate all the support so far, and yeah, any more that you guys can give. So yeah,
I do. On a personal note, I find that really amazing that because they don't like, I think they don't just have power off intermittently. It is they almost, I mean, outside of what the immediate bombing creates, they are regularly without power because of bombing in other places and the destruction to the destruction of the power infrastructure there. But yet they still keep plugging along. I mean,
amazing.
And it's cold. Also, too, it's important to remember it's not summer in Ukraine. They're in the winter, and it's very, very cold there. So, like one of our dads lives in he's a 14-story apartment building, and just I find it amazing. I mean, that I don't know what I would do honestly in that sort of situation. So, it's amazing stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to drop a Kickstarter link in the chat as well. I don't know if Steam will block links. We'll see, I guess. But I've chucked that in there for those of you that want to check it out. I think this stream has got some links attached to it and some more about the game attached to it. If you're not able to back the project yet, a wish list helps, and a follow on the Kickstarter page also helps a lot. So, please get involved, guys. That really helps us out. But I think we're going to wrap it up shortly. Just want to say thanks to Kieran and Matt for joining me. And we'll be back here Wednesday? Are we announcing that yet?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think we're going to put an announcement Monday about that's going to combine. It's going to combine our demo going live on the 12th. It's the weekly live streams, which will definitely be on Saturdays at the same time, but also will probably be on Wednesdays at the same time. And the Kickstarter, because the Kickstarter is, again, it's the fuel for the fire.
Yeah.
To build what we want.
Yeah. Nice. Cool. All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you in the next stream, everybody. Have a great evening, day, night, wherever you are.
Before we go,
there's always one more comment from you, isn't there?
One more comment. I think what we're going to try to do, if I'm right, is we're going to start recording the live streams and probably putting them on our YouTube.
Yeah.
So that way people can go back and see earlier live streams. So.
Yeah.
Check out the.
I've recorded this, so yeah, I'm going to send that to you, and you can have fun editing it.
Oh well, I'm just going to throw it out there. So.
Amazing. Cool. All right. Once again, thanks, guys. Catch you all soon for the next stream. Cheerio.
Thanks.
All right.